Hey YouTube, this is the top Screaming Eagle fixed blade knife. The blade steel is 154 cm and it does have the Paul Bos heat treatment. As you can see, it has the black powder epoxy black traction coating blade finish that Tops uses on pretty much all of its blades. It's a very high quality coating. Right, now the overall length of this blade, if you measure it from the top of the handle scale, it's about 6.6 inches. Right, but if you measure it from the beginning of the edge to the tip itself, it is 5½ inches. It's also a 1/4 inch thick, and it is 22 ounces in total its weight. So this is a very beefy and substantial knife. Now you see that sharpened area on the spine. That area without the coating, it's actually about 2½ inches long, all right, and it is sharpened. All right, here is a close-up of the blade itself, and this is damn impressive. Check out the sub tip, all right, and the Tanto tip design. It also is available in a drop point. Okay, and check out, you can see the thickness there, a very rugged knife. Right, and here is the sharpened, the back portion right there. That is useful in certain bushcrafting tasks. All right, not an expert at bushcraft, but I have seen my bushcrafting friends. You know, there are solid uses for that little sharpened section. All right, and I mean that's just a beautiful blade from a collector standpoint. But as I said, I mean, this thing is beefy. You could definitely really use it. It would have a lot of chopping power due to its weight, even though it's not, you know, a super long knife. All right, and check out the nice, very attractive white liners, Micarta handle scales, and again you can see the massive thickness on that full tang construction. Definitely a sharpened pry bar type of knife. All right, and it has that hole there to help you in lashing it to something, different survival situations. Now check out the pommel. They call this a pry bar and a splitter, all right, in their advertisement, and you can see it's basically an asymmetrical wedge. And I could definitely see, you know, you could, well, as they say, you could use it to help split things or pry things. Seems like it would be very useful, actually. It is also available in a skeletonized handle for those who want to just wrap the handle in paracord. All right, but overall, this knife, you know, perfect geometry there on the grind, a strong Sabre grind, and the secondary grind of the Tanto tip. Just everything about this knife pretty much screams high quality. You know, just the weight, how thick it is, the Paul Bos heat treatment, traction coating, much superior to painted on Teflon. Yeah, this is a very high quality blade. Alright, and here you see a size comparison. Directly to the left of the top Screaming Eagle is the Dustar ARAD 1 knife in D2 tool steel. And as you can see, it's almost exactly the same overall length as the Screaming Eagle. And in turn, that is slightly shorter than a USMC K-bar. All right, to the right is the DPX Hest assault knife. As you can see, the Tops knife, you know, it's probably about 1 inch longer in overall length. To the far right is the Boker Kalishnikov Tanto fixed blade, and I think you can see the obvious similarities there. The Boker knife is kind of a slightly shorter, it's a budget, kind of like a budget version of the Screaming Eagle. As you can see, it's about 1 inch shorter, you know, it's less wide, it's got aluminum handles. All right, so, you know, it's a smaller poor man's version of the Screaming Eagle. All right, and to the far left is the Zero Tolerance 100. Which is actually a very similar knife to the Screaming Eagle. Obviously it's a bit shorter in blade length, but they are both 154 cm steel. They are both extremely heavily built. kind of sharpened pry bar philosophy, and they're both excellent choppers for their medium-sized lengths. So I think overall, where the Tops knife fits in, it's basically medium-large, right? It's a bit shorter than a full-size USMC K-bar, right? But it's definitely a bit longer than medium-sized fixed blades, that are about 5 1/2 inches, all right, pilot survival knife, etc. So if medium large, around 6 1/2 inches in blade length, if that's your preferred length for an outdoor knife or combat utility, definitely consider this Screaming Eagle. This is the sheath that the knife comes with. All right, as you can see, it has this right here to lash it to your thigh. Right, it has a secondary pocket with a Kydex buckle closure, right, and the Tops whistle actually comes inside it. But you could use that pocket for a multi-tool, a first aid kit. Right, it has two horizontal retaining straps, one thin and one wide. They are Velcro, which is not very good as far as a military usage because it makes noise. And I would also generally prefer a diagonal strap, right? But that's what you get. And as far as deployment, once you undo the straps, very easy, right? And there is a hard plastic insert right there. Right, now the back of the sheath, right? You see the horizontal straps and the vertical straps. That is MOLLE compatible, all right, for military web gear. All right, and you see the belt loop right there. All right, so that is the sheath. Now overall, I think this is a great knife for many reasons. First of all, just look at the fit and finish on this thing. It's completely flush, the liners, nice micarta, just the geometry of it. I mean, they don't mean this to be a collectible, but they made it with such high quality fit and finish that it is collectible. Second reason, this is obviously fully functional outdoor fixed blade. It has such heft and weight that you could definitely do some chopping with this. It would outperform a lot of knives of the same length just because it's so wide, heavy, and the very strong. Look at this strong Sabre grind. The bevel is right there. All right, and the splitter end could be useful as well. And the third reason, it's also a combat knife. Not only is it a collectible knife, a great medium large outdoor knife, it's actually a soldier's combat knife too. Look at that tip. That would have, this would go through several layers of, soldiers. Enemy soldiers are going to tend to have several layers, and that's what that tip. That's what that tip is for. I mean, just look at it. So overall, I think it's a great design. All right, highly recommended.